Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
And welcome back, everybody. We're going to talk about your living space today and how, when you make those small little changes, how it has such a big impact, especially when you're working with interior designers. I found two for you. They work together. They're phenomenal. They are the women behind Realm Design Co. I've got Hannah and Caitlin joining us today. Welcome, guys. How's everything going with you?
Hello, good. How are you doing?
Very well, very well. Lots to talk about today. Before we even get into this topic, I was thinking about you a little while ago. So I'm in between houses. I'm looking. Inventory where I am, not the best. It's taking a long time, but it is what it is. It is the market. And then I'm thinking, as I go through, hundreds of pictures, would you be hired to look at a house before it's bought to give ideas before the purchase is made?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Because that's where I'm thinking, because everything is going to require, at least in the market where I am, something. There's little changes here and there. And I'm like, well, if I wonder if I did that and what, or just here's the pictures, whatever your fee is, throw me back something, or here's two houses. What do you think? What can we do with this one? What can we do with that one? What are your recommendations?
That's a perfect, like we always talk about our video sessions. That's a perfect call. We hop on, we share screens, we look at things together, give you ideas of what's easy to fix, what could be like a long-term goal if you wanted to like completely renovate. And yeah, for sure. We love doing that.
It's so funny. We talked about this a while back, but the first thing you look at is the kitchen, and some of them, I see the white appliances right away. I've got yellow lights going off in my head. Beep, 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 beep. Like, or certain types of cabinets, like beep, 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 beep. All right. There's 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, whatever. But all right, good to keep in mind. So small touches making the big impact. What are we talking about?
Yeah. So we always like to tell our clients, yes, there are certain projects that require construction and there's room for that. But a whole nother part of our business that we love to help people with are the elements that make a house a home. And just encouraging people who are buying new homes or settling in or redecorating that you want to leave room in your budget and be really intentional with those decisions, because we can all see that if you just shove furniture in a room, you don't have anything going for you. It feels cold. It feels empty. It feels, not inviting. But when you add in all those finishing touches, a lot of people are like, oh, I don't want to spend that money to give that layer, but it really does make a massive difference. And so we always love working with people on just those projects, even if they don't have the budget for construction. And also just giving people creative ideas on what they can do on their own too, in kind of giving their home that touch.
It seems like it's the difference between having a room or having a warm, inviting room, right?
100%. Yeah, definitely. You got to think about if you buy a sofa and it has the pillows that match all the fabric of the sofa and you just place it in a room, it almost feels like a college dorm, honestly. It feels like something you just bought, versus if you curate the pillows to your style and your taste and put on that beautiful comfy throw and family pictures on the wall. It really just makes it more cozy and inviting, for sure.
I get the visual right away as soon as you said that. The pillows, and they may, they're colors that go, but just the patterns, it's just like robotic, put it all together, albeit it's safe. I get it. But at the same time, you're missing something. You're missing that certain design and style element. And many of us take for granted. We just think, the furniture manufacturer, well, they had their designers and put it all together. No, they did it as easy and cheap as possible, which isn't always the best way to go in terms of getting the look you want. What are some other small touches that we can make?
Yeah, I was just going to say too, another great example of this is you go to a new home community and you walk the model homes and they're gorgeous. There's custom wall treatments, there's wallpaper, there's all of the decor and everything, and you fall in love and you buy the house, and then you realize that all of those things are add-ons and upgrades, and yes, you can, get all of those things, but they paint a perfect picture of what we classify as builder grade, which is usually like you kind of get bare minimum standards in bathrooms. They're frameless mirrors, the classic Home Depot bought 3 light vanity over the mirrors. It's all just very, very simple because it's that
Yeah.
cookie cutter look. But in the model home, they show you all of those little elements absolutely can transform the home in every way. And so that's kind of a good imagery for people to understand how those elements really do change. And then giving people little tools like that, like, bathrooms. We can go on this for a while, but even little things like touching the hardware, touching, wall treatments, things like that you can introduce to kind of get closer and closer to that feel and look.
Feel is the key word. How are you going to feel? And as soon as you said walking through the builder's model, right away brought back memories. The first place I ever bought, it was in my 20s, and it was a townhouse. And I still remember, wow, look at that. Yeah. I'm going to own one of these. Yeah. And to your point, I did, but it wasn't exactly the model because it was all upgrades. And that builder's quality stuff, especially the lights, the globe that's stuck to the ceiling. It's just like the classic $10 fixture, if you will, of some frosted glass. It's about the feel. And how do you want to feel? Do you want it just a room, or do you want to feel that everything has a synergy and all kind of goes together, and people just are brighter and feel better when they're in that room, right?
Which if you, we talk to clients all the time who are walking through the models, and before they buy the home, they're like, I really love this home, but I don't want to spend the money on the home and then rip it all out. And there's ways that you can upgrade without ripping it all out. Like maybe upgrade the cabinetry, but not the hardware, because sometimes you can get the hardware less expensive afterwards, and we can find something even more unique than they offer. And it'll upgrade it. Same thing with the mirrors. You can find really cool mirrors for not that crazy expensive. And it just adds that personal touch. And like you're saying, light fixtures are game changing when it comes to homes, because if you have those standard ones, it's just usually the color of the light is really wrong, and it's just so there's lots of easy ways to do it.
I don't know what caused me to look into it, but when I found out what they actually cost, I'm like I'm a kid when I don't know, maybe this is like 10 years ago. It was like $10, $11 for that light fixture. I'm like, are you kidding? Like, you couldn't spend more. That's it. And the last house I had, I bought it in 14, sold it a year and change ago. And they renovated it because of a small fire. So I won in that regard because I got a lot of, new stuff, fresh, rock on the walls and everything. But they went HD. Home Depot. And quality wise, the cabinets are all right, but the bathrooms, no. But it is what it is. I inherited it. If I was spending, I would spend more to get quality quality materials, because it really does make a difference.
Yep. And even going back to budget management, I know we've talked about that a lot in all of our episodes, but we like to encourage people, don't buy the most, the top of your budget home and then put builder standard carpet for your flooring everywhere. Like, go for the lesser expensive home and then get those upgrades, especially if we're talking new construction. But even if you're talking an older home that you're trying to remodel, leave room in your budget to have the finishes of the home reflect the level of the price range that it is. Of course, if you're thinking like a short-term rental or, a vacation rental or something like that, those are kind of one-off things as well. But if it's a home that you're going to live in for years on end, you're raising a family there, you don't want to, you just want those finishes to measure up correctly. So make sure that you leave room in that budget, not just for those little upgrades, but also for the things like candles and photos and art and pillows. Like, those are all the things that really do make you feel settled, homey, inviting, a place where you can entertain and just feel at home.
I've learned in this move the difference between a quality expensive couch and a quality couch, which I have now. I was in a rush. I'm like, just grab it. It had to fit in a certain way. I'm not getting a lot of quality out of it. Let me just say that. And the couch I had before that, I spent a lot more and it lasted. It lasted like easily 12 years and maybe even more. So it does make a difference. Do you want to be buying this stuff over again? No, you don't. You want it to
Totally.
last. Yeah. So other suggestions, what do you got?
Yeah, we talk to clients about that all the time. People are like, I want it next week for my party and it needs to just like be in stock and ready to go. And we're like, hold on, let's rent
Yeah.
something for your party and invest and select the correct thing. That's we've chatted about it before too, but don't start construction before you have the materials because otherwise you're at the mercy of what's in stock. And when you're spending that much money, you don't want to just purchase what's in stock. So let's think. Let me see. What else do we have? Yeah, accessories. Let's touch on that a little bit. Hannah and I always have this conversation with clients because it's the end of a project. They've spent all the money on the remodel, and now we're like, okay, here's an accessory budget. Like this is kind of what we're thinking we should spend and shop and bring all the accessories in. And a lot of people are like, I don't want to spend any more money. I'm at the end of it. So kind of like Hannah was saying, like prepping yourself and preparing that budget at the end for all of those final details, the bedding, the
Mm.
florals, whether fake or real, trees, greenery to liven up your house. Just really being intentional with that budget. So you're not like, I have $50, let's go shop at who knows where and get like some cheapy things. Those things, you also want those to last to a degree and not feel like phony or fake. So I think keeping that in your budget is
hmm
really, really important.
Don't judge me, but when I moved into this house, the plants that you're talking about, I
Okay.
got the majority of them on Facebook Marketplace, and
That's not a bad idea.
they were high quality, and people just didn't have space for them anymore. And
Mhm.
they were really like seriously good quality. Like
Mhm.
the pots, artificial plants, obviously, but the pots were like really thick and done well. And I'm not even kidding. Like some of them were like $20. Hardest part was transporting because you got this tall thing. But just a thought, it's not for everybody and it's not for every situation. I happen to win out for that. Other stuff, probably never know.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
we
was
use personally, we use Facebook Marketplace a lot to find
Okay.
really cool things, unique things too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. You never know what you're going to find. And so, people get rid of high quality items for a very low price, but there's work involved. You need to, go see it, vet it out, see what you're dealing with and then transport it. But, just figured I'd throw it in there.
Yeah, no, that's a great call as well to add back in character. A lot of the homes, depending on what part of the country you're in, I was actually recently in Savannah, Georgia, and the character is oozing out of every corner just because of where it's located. But on the West Coast, it's mostly new construction. There's not the same level of character and architecture and those kind of built-in elements in people's homes. And so going to Facebook Marketplace or Etsy or any kind of situation like that or estate sales, those are great opportunity to find really high quality vintage pieces that we love to kind of add back in the character to these homes that are a little bit more cookie cutter or just really basic, and you want that again, just the life brought back in. So Marketplace is a great find. Also, I was going to say along the lines of what you like, little tricks of the trade to find little things. On a different tangent, when you're thinking about smaller pieces, decor, even holiday, like fun things to fill your home for the holidays, always shop at the end of the season when everything is 80% off and buy it for the next year. It might feel weird to do that because you're like, Christmas is just over. Why would I buy all this Christmas decor? You're going to get it for a fraction of the price. And you can go to these higher end stores like Pottery Barn has beautiful decor and beautiful holiday offerings as well. And Crate and Barrel and CB2, West Elm, all of these retailers, and you can get these amazing pieces for 80% off and then just stash it in your garage and then pull it out the next year and you've made a fortune and you have a beautiful home. So
Love it. Love it. And where to put this stuff? I'm going to share this. It's like tip day.
Yeah.
Storage, a storage facility. I'm in one now. I got out of one recently that is a franchise, and the game here is they keep raising the rates every couple of months. Another $25, another $50. I'm like, what?
Yep.
Found a family-owned local storage place and negotiated with them, and they're not going to raise my rate for 48 months. And I mean, it's so worth it in terms of having that extra space, like very minimal, safe, secure. So if you're seeking storage, look for a family-owned, non-franchise. They're out there. You got to pick and choose. You'll find them. But that was a game changer for me, moving from a house to a smaller place in between houses. Got to have a place for your stuff, and if you don't have it in your house, that's it. Like for decorations, man, you could get so many decorations cheap. Where are you going to put them if you don't have the space?
Totally. Yep. Yeah, we have a storage unit. Same thing. I think it's family owned. It's a smaller little
there you go.
non-franchise, and we use it for all of our decor that we sell and stuff. So, huge tip. Yeah.
Do you guys do staging as well?
We don't do staging for I think in what most people refer to staging in like preparing to sell.
Yeah.
But we do help people with accessorizing their homes. And so a lot of times we'll get people reaching out, especially, again, like Caitlin mentioned, the video sessions that we offer are the perfect opportunity for that because it's a low buy-in, it's a video call with us, and they're like, hey, I bought this furniture. It's new. I'm not ready to replace it. I'm happy with it, but the room isn't pulled together. I need window treatments. I need pillows. I need small decor. I need art suggestions. And those are all things that are very easy for us to source and quick for us to source. And so we can help people kind of pull the room together in that sense. So
how do you do that? Like, okay, we do a video session now, like in your example, somebody bought a couch and now they want the rest. Are you giving individual pictures? You're probably not doing a rendering for that type of situation, but you're showing, what's possible.
Yeah, it'd probably be what we typically do is pull a bunch of links. So if they show us what their sofa looks like or a bookshelf, for example, that they're like, we need this styled, we can kind of share a screen, show them some sources that we like to shop at. Here's some options, and then kind of the tricks of the trade of how to style in general. You want some plants with some hard things, soft things, we kind of say. So you have the plants that are a little bit more organic, and then you have the sculptures that kind of bring in that hard sculptural or abstract element. And then baskets are a great idea for storing things that you don't want to see. And then there's just a lot of little tips and tricks. So it's easy to hop on Zoom, be like, this would all look great. Here's a couple ideas if you want to play with other options. But
we're talking about
very efficient.
The small touches, the big impact. I want to digress for just a second. You talk about somebody who might have a couch and that's got to stay and you're going to work around it. What has somebody kept and you had to work around it? Something unusual, something that and it's all confidential, but I'm sure you deal with a lot, but something where somebody said, maybe it's a family heirloom. I don't know what it is, but you've got to work around it. Does anything come to mind?
I think we have that in every project. It's not every day where people just have a completely blank slate. I will say there's different tiers to how aesthetically pleasing that item has been. Sometimes it's a beautiful, passed down heirloom furniture piece that is so exciting for us to work around. And then there's these other, the cliche man's recliner that is so ugly and falling apart. And we can't convince them to replace that. So, we're creatives and we can work around it and figure out ways to maybe throw a blanket on it and hide it a little bit better.
So full confession, if I were to take this camera and turn it that way, there's a big glass going that way. And in the corner is it's almost embarrassing. I don't even want to say it. It's a black leather chair that I had, bachelor days from back in the day. And,
Yeah.
that my colors here are orange and gray, and it just fit, but it traveled along the way. It wasn't always in a living room. And I don't even know where I was in another office before this. But to your point, it's that chair. It's here.
Oh yeah. Most guys have that chair. I have a funny, quick little story. We had a client who I think it was her father or grandfather, gave her this tall clock, like a grandfather clock. It
I
was
see it.
massive. You know exactly what I'm talking about. And we're styling her house, and she's like, okay, we have to find a place for this so that it's technically in the house, but I don't want to see it. Like, she's like, if he shows up, I need it to be here, but I don't want to see it. And we had movers there, and she's like, okay, put it behind that door. And so we kind of put it in the corner, and she's like, no, behind the door. And she had us like tuck and tuck and tuck. And it's just one of those things of like, people have these things that they're sentimental, and they're like, it has to be in my house. But that was one story, quick little story that she was on the same page as us.
Oh, I see it. I get it. And that's a tough one. Like, guys, can you make it invisible? Until I need to go like that and bring it back, when dad visits.
Exactly.
Wow. Yeah.
Or it's the like, oops, this broke in the moving process.
Exactly.
I can't believe that happened.
And anything could happen. You never know what's going to happen. Time that we have left. Any other small touches that you could suggest or we keep on our radar?
Yeah. Again, I think just telling people or encouraging people to leave it in their budget. Don't forget about the adding color, like go neutral with your base, add in color based on seasonal items. Pillows are such a great way for that. Artwork, throw blankets, anything like that. It's just, they're really easy. They're not expensive. Go to Target. Target has great options. If you're really looking for just an easy, fast, everyone goes to Target probably on a weekly basis. So just grab it and keep your home fresh. Don't forget about those things. It makes a big difference.
Caitlin, anything on your radar?
I think that's it. Adding in. Oh, go ahead.
You talk about artwork. Do people change out their artwork like maybe on a regular basis? Like it's, the same hole in the wall with the nail, whatever it is that, the hook or whatever. And would they keep changing it? Like, all right, I'm going to change it. I'm bored with this now. Do you know people that do that?
For sure. We have clients that kind of do both. We have some clients that are so invested in their art that they've found it, they've invested, they've spent a lot of money, and it's going to stay there forever. So everything has to be designed around it. And then we also have those clients who are like, I don't really care. I want to switch it out.
Wow.
So we'll usually do like gallery frames for that. So they have the option to kind of pull the back off, throw something else in it, and put it back up.
All right. So how do we find you? Somebody wants to even book a video call to kind of go over all this stuff, no matter what situation they're in. How they do that?
Yeah. So they can go to our website, www.realmdesign.co, and you can schedule a video session right on there. Pick your date and your time, and you'll get both Caitlin and I on a video call. And then on all social platforms, we're at Realm Design Co. And email is info@realmdesign.co.
Love talking with you guys, especially that you have fresh ideas, and there's two. So you get
two for one.
Yeah, you really do. You really do. Because it's another set of eyes and another opinion, and you can process it as the client any way you want. So a big win there. Both of you, thank you very much for being here again today.
Yep.
Thanks so much.
Thank you. We'll be right back.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.